Hey. Welcome to Voices of Reality. We are going to do a deep dive into Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, comment down below, like our videos, support us. We've been working hard on these videos and we keeping them coming. But of course, we need your support, your viewership, your likes to help out the algorithm, to put us out there, push us out there. Support.
Yes.
So let's jump right into it and unpack this episode. Beverly Hills.
It was boring to me. Not that I always like the drama, but it was like I could not. If I missed it, I didn't miss anything. It was one of those episodes I think they just threw in there, just
True.
an episode. There wasn't much going on.
Yeah, I felt like it was a little bit of like phoniness, but I like, not to say like I want beef, but I do want resolution. And I just felt like there was like no resolution with Erika, Sutton. They getting along all of a sudden. You just saw like what's her name, Crystal in the scene with Sutton. I'm like, wait, wasn't they just beefing, crying, and everything the night before?
It was pretty fake. I mean, what I did like seeing the women getting, all along. It was all nice, hunky dory, but it was just like, this episode, it was more so about Erika being drunk. And some people found it pretty funny. I was just like, she was having a great time. But of course, we could go deeper into each scene. But again, it wasn't anything much to really discuss. But it started out with the ladies in the hotel. I think it was Sutton and Erika. They were in the hotel room, all the ladies, I think, at that particular point where it started. And they were talking about, this be between Erika and Sutton. And Erika said something to me that she said. I was like, oh, she was like, does a doctor's
wife feel responsibility for his patients?
Oh my God, that was such a stupid analogy. I guess she was trying, and I was like scared for Sutton for a minute because she asked Erika,
do you feel any responsibility
toward the victims of the plane crash? And I'm like, she's asking questions. Isn't that forbidden as far as Erika's concerned?
Correct.
And I was pleasantly surprised that Erika answered, and then with that stupid analogy. What did you think about that analogy?
Well, she's right. A wife is not responsible for her her husband.
True. That's right.
That's true. Now, is Erika responsible for what her husband did? No, she's not. The issue I'm having with this whole Erika situation is, did she know he was doing it? If she didn't know and he did it, she's not responsible. She knew, then that's where I have the issue. If I'm married to a doctor, then let's use this analogy because that's what she used. And I know my doctor is doing malpractice or killing these patients. It is my responsibility at this point as a human to he's doing these things, stopping it, reporting, whatever I have to, because he's harming people. So if Erika knew, it was her responsibility. Now, if she didn't know, then it all falls on Tom. So her analogy was correct. However, she didn't go into more depth as far as, well, if the person knows that the husband is committing crimes, then this is where it is a responsibility of a wife. And at this point, it is Erika's responsibility if she knew Tom was doing the things that he said he was.
I mean, I get that part, but I thought it was a stupid analogy. Like, I didn't think it was a good analogy at all because I just feel like when you compare a doctor's like patients, to me, like a doctor's patients, when they're operating on someone, they're doing something to try to like help somebody, and accidents happen. When I think of doctors malpractice and attorney malpractice, that's not them intentionally murdering a patient. So whereas with Tom and her situation, like he intentionally was doing like corrupt things as an attorney. Like, so I didn't think it was a good analogy when it comes to patients and doctors.
I don't think it was a good analogy either because she lost her whole point.
Yeah.
And I don't think Sutton got it either. And it was kind of like, okay, it was a dumb analogy. So at that point, I don't know if Erika was still drugged up or high on meds. So it didn't make any sense. But again, that was her saying, I'm not responsible for what my husband did. And again, you're not responsible for what anybody does. But if you are aware of what they are doing, then you are accountable for partaking in that action. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are speculating that she had some involvement or some knowledge because of the money going to her business. And again, the amount of money that was being spent. And it was kind of like it was purposely being spent. Like, oh, I have to spend this money to kind of get this money.
And then the divorce, and then all of a sudden his immediate decline once they started freezing accounts and stuff. Once the feds got involved and they started freezing his accounts, all of a sudden you're getting a divorce. He's on this rapid decline mentally. He can't remember anything. He's senile. He's crippled. He looks terrible. No more three-piece suits. He looks like a poor guy where you want to have sympathy for him. So I just think this is all of those things happened was very suspect. Whereas with Teresa, like on Jersey Wives, and when everything started to happen with her and her husband and the feds freezing accounts and all of that other stuff, to her, I really believe that Teresa had absolutely nothing to do with that, because she didn't start getting a divorce, hiding money, having this cavalier attitude. It was just the difference between Erika is she just doesn't give a damn. So that attitude is I don't like it. And then the comparison, the analogy was terrible. But I mean, it was nice to see them talking.
It was nice to see them talking either. And I'm like, okay, Erika must be bipolar or these meds, because how do you hate Sutton, F you, don't talk to me, so now you're talking? And why is Sutton even engaging with Erika?
And asking questions when you know this is
want to be around or socialize with someone like that. So the fact that they were talking was kind of weird. And I was like, okay, was this all made up, this hostility to build up a storyline? Do they actually do like each other? Because it seems like when they did talk to each other, they actually genuinely liked each other.
Yeah, but I think also another element to add to this is that Erika she's on these anxiety meds. So that may be helping her personality and her to be a little bit more approachable.
Sure. What was the next scene? I think it was Kyle, Lisa, and Rinna again talk about, oh, look at Sutton and Erika getting along. So for them, that was a big deal. Oh my God, they're getting along. They made such a big deal about it, which in essence, it makes sense because they were beefing since last season.
Yeah.
Seeing them automatically talk now is oh, okay, they're talking. Let's see how long this is going to last.
Mm-hmm. She was just ganging up on her the night before. Erika was just ganging up on Sutton. They were just having this big old, I think it was a bullying session. So, and then all of a sudden next morning everyone's talking. You wouldn't even thought that happened. It was everybody took their meds that morning. Or their anxiety meds.
Yeah. So the next scene was Sutton and Crystal and Garcelle talking. And Garcelle said something that nobody is talking about Erika. Everyone's talking about Sutton, what's happening with Sutton and Crystal, but no one's talking about what's going on with Erika.
You mean Erika and her case? That's what they meant?
Yeah, that's what Garcelle was referring to. But again, Garcelle said it in a confessional.
Of course. That's what I was thinking when she was talking about it. She's they all acting nothing, everything is solved.
Nobody's talking about it. None of the ladies. They've we're happy to drop it. Let's move on.
Solved. No, not they. You too.
Exactly. So again, no one mentioned anything to Erika. Everyone's saying everything in the confessional. And let's just see at the reunion when they play back anything. Is anyone going to stand up to Erika? Or is Erika going to say anything? But again, it's the same conversation. Everyone's saying whatever they want to say in confessional. But when it comes down to confronting Erika, no one says anything.
But based on I guess the Instagram, the social media interaction between Garcelle and Erika, something's going to go down where I think Garcelle's going to be more aggressive. I think as it goes on, or at the reunion. If we don't see it on the show, I think we're going to see some ruffled feathers at the reunion.
Because at the real, Garcelle mentioned that her and Erika are not following each other on social media because Erika called her a name.
Yeah.
I don't know what name that was, but she didn't like it. And eventually she did say that we are going to see it on the show.
Okay. So yeah, so I guess she's gonna start being outspoken in a little couple more episodes, it seems like.
Yeah. And the next the one of in that same scene was Sutton again talking to Crystal like she's a child. Because Crystal's like, oh, you called me a liar. And Sutton was like, we're not gonna go back.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you call me a liar too, and I'm not.
No one wants to be called a liar.
But that's what I'm saying. But I'm not going to attack you like that.
right.
I just held on to it.
Yeah.
That's a hurt, you know.
It is a hurtful thing.
Yeah.
But I thought last night we did.
I'm just
Okay.
saying. And I said,
But so when we do that, we don't go backwards.
Yeah.
We're not gonna go back. And I was like, oh my God, look how she's talking to Crystal. Yes. She was like, we're not gonna go back. We're not.
That's
And
what I
was
mean.
just like,
Sutton
oh my
got some
goodness.
nerve.
Huh?
Sutton got some nerve, like, to be acting like that toward Crystal. Now that you think you got a little backbone, you're gonna start picking on a person who's a little bit weaker than everyone else.
Well, she's been picking on her.
Yeah.
This is
The
not
weakest
new.
link.
Yeah, so at that point, I was like, here goes Sutton again, talking to Crystal as if she's a child, and Crystal dumbing down. And just
Yeah.
like, okay,
I'm
so
trying
that
to
was
process everything she said. She said, I'm just trying to, because I think somebody asked her a question like,
it was Garcelle
yeah.
about not saying anything. I think Garcelle had brought it back again. And when you don't say anything, it seems like we're bullying you. You're not really talking and verbalizing how you feel. And she said for her, it takes time for her to process things. And people are like that. But again, when you do it, people are going to view you as weak because you're not saying anything. But how long does it take for you to process something? Because it seems like even after she processes these things, she still doesn't say anything.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I still think in the moment, you know, I guess afterwards you process it more, but I just think in that moment, you still should have some type of response. Like, even if you overreact or whatever, like, you still should have a response, not crying and being weak and being quiet and not saying nothing. But I mean, everybody's different.
Yeah, she don't say anything. Then they had the boat ride. I mean, again, nothing that really happened. Erika was drunk. Everybody felt she was funny. I didn't think of it as, I didn't see she didn't do anything comical for me to laugh at. It was more like, okay, she's really drunk.
So, Crystal, if you had a choice of a threesome with 2 girls and Rob or 2 guys and Rob, what would you choose? Garcelle!
Yeah.
Go down and pee on that new girl.
I'm not peeing on the new girl.
Do you want me to pee on her? Like, I'd probably kind of get some kind of fetish out of it.
What?
Yeah, you heard me, right?
And, you know, on social media, oh, how could she be this drunk? She embarrassed herself. I don't think she said anything inappropriate. I don't feel like she did anything inappropriate. I don't think so. She was just having a good time. But again, she mixed her meds with alcohol. But I just was like, you know, there are moments you just want to be drunk and forget about everything. But she didn't embarrass herself.
I think that people are just so used to her being like, so like, you know, on point and just like ready to chop bitches' heads off. Like, I just think she's just so like, she's always put together. Like, she got the glam squad. Like, you don't see her sloppy, and then you don't see her letting the wall down. So I just think that's another thing that people were like, Kyle and them were embracing that drunk side of her, because to them, they took it as Erika is letting her wall down and she's acting a fool. Like, whereas usually she's like on point, alert, making sure she responds to everything, taking it all in. So I just think this time she just let it all loose and hang out. And there is nothing wrong with that. I just think they want to see, it's like they used to seeing the bitch side of her.
Correct. And I actually like seeing a different side of Erika. And she looked like that was her fun side. I didn't think anything was wrong for her being drunk. The woman wasn't doing anything crazy. So let her enjoy herself. It was a trip for her to get loose. She didn't say anything that was incriminating to her case. So
and you're out having fun. You're not at a business meeting. You're not at a convention. You're out on a boat, on an island, you know, in the Caribbean, like, you know, just having fun with your girls. So it's like, come on now. Like, have a good time. Let loose. Whenever you only live once. YOLO.
So then the next scene was them showing Garcelle and Sutton doing glam up. So it was kind of I thought about last video when we were talking about, Garcelle doesn't have glam.
I saw them.
I saw glam there.
I saw the two ladies. Yes, I did.
Yeah, but we don't know whose glam it was. But Sutton had an assistant there.
I did see that.
So they were
just, and I'm just wondering, was it a real assistant? It looked like could have been one of her homies, but it's okay. I would hire one of my homies to be a part of my glam squad too. So
yeah, so she actually they were glamming up and discussing what close to it, and then they had the dinner. And at the dinner, it was a nice dinner. There was so much going on. Garcelle inviting all of them to a birthday party. What else happened? The one thing that I guess stood out of that dinner was when Garcelle invited one to the party, and she said, "Oh, and I'm also inviting Denise."
Yeah.
And Rinna is not going to be able to attend Garcelle's party, and she mentioned that she contacted Denise. And again, Garcelle didn't say anything, but in the confessional, she said she did mention it she texted Denise. And Denise was like, when? Basically texting Denise, or Rinna says she kind of spoke.
Yeah, because she didn't believe Lisa.
She didn't believe Lisa, but I'm like, why would Lisa make up such a lie knowing Garcelle could always ask Denise? Why would she make up that big of a lie?
I think I could see Lisa lying too, though, like to kind of like, I think Lisa lies, like tells little white lies, like with the whole like Harry Hamlin text. Who did she? Oh, Sutton. Remember when she said that when Sutton said something about that benefit that they went to of Elton John, and I guess she didn't like that Sutton portrayed her as like a freeloader. Her and Harry Hamlin sat at her table. It was a whole back and forth about who paid for the table, who didn't pay for the table. And then remember she said, well, Harry Hamlin, her husband, as she calls Harry Hamlin, text Sutton and told her, how dare you, or whatever he said to Sutton. But I knew she was lying, and everybody else knew that she was lying. That was her that took her husband's phone and started texting Sutton to try to make her feel bad.
Oh my God.
So I think this was another situation where it was like, she's like telling little white lies, like just to shut Garcelle up, because Garcelle, I don't know if you watched it then when Lisa and
Denise
had their little beef. Afterwards, Garcelle, it was important to Garcelle that Lisa made things right. So in Garcelle's mind, it was probably like, oh, how convenient that you text her, you didn't tell anybody, and you made it right. So now you want to shut me up so you don't have to make it right with her anymore. That's the way I took it. So Garcelle was double checking to see like, should I let this go, or did she really text her?
Well, it looks like she didn't.
I think she did.
Denise?
Lisa came with the receipts last night on Instagram.
That she really did text Denise.
She did text her, and then she sent the response back. She posted up Denise's response, and it was basically like she said. It wasn't an in-depth conversation. It was basically like, thank you so much. This means a lot that you reached out to me. I hope you and your family are good. Hope to see you soon. And that was it. So
why did she say that to Garcelle? Or what did Garcelle text her? That's the question.
She did say that to Garcelle. You mean, what did Lisa text? What you mean?
No, what did Garcelle text to Denise? For Denise to respond when? Because Garcelle made it seem that she texted Denise that, did Lisa Rinna ever apologize? And then Denise responded back when?
Well, I think that's a case of like, when you text somebody and it's like a quick text and the details, because I'm like that too. If you're missing a period, a comma, or something, I don't know what you're talking about. It could seem like a run-on sentence. So when you texting somebody and you saying, did Denise text you? Or did Lisa text you? I would have been thinking like, did she just text me just now? I would have been looking at my phone like,
oh, I see what you're like. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like when? Are you talking about 2 months ago? Or are you talking about just now that she texted me while y'all out? Like, did she just call me now? So, how texting can be like, misconstrued easily. So I took it like that. And Denise is a little dingy. So I could see her. Listen, we all can. Like I said, I would be too. I get it.
Garcelle misunderstood what Denise meant when she said when. It wasn't like she never texted like what, like basically what are you talking about? Like which text are you talking about? That's probably what it probably came out of the blue. Like I don't know how often Denise and Garcelle text each other. I don't think she lied, but maybe in her heart she wanted to kind of catch Lisa in a lie.
Yeah.
And she just said, oh, she texted when, but she didn't believe Lisa Rinna.
I don't think so. And I think she took it like Lisa Rinna just said it to shut her up, because when Garcelle kept asking her to talk to Denise, make it right, Lisa wasn't that receptive to it. Like, she was just like, why is this your business? Like, she didn't really want to do it. So I think the way Garcelle took it was like, is she trying to like just blow me off? Like, just to tell me a lie so I could shut up? So I think that's what that was about.
I mean, and I understand. Lisa felt like she wanted to apologize when she was ready to apologize, not when you tell me to apologize.
Yeah.
So I get it.
A friendship on me.
So I get it. And again, the dinner, they talked about, Garcelle made it a point to Diana that it was rude when she wanted to talk about her book, and she really didn't want to talk about her book. I mean, Garcelle said that to her.
And then she lied, though. Jenkins, Diana. She lied again and didn't really tell the real story about the book. She was just like, well, I don't want to brag. I feel, I don't like to brag about things, but that wasn't the real reason why she didn't want to talk about the book.
No, she talked about the real reason in the confessional.
Yeah, she didn't tell them. She lied to them and said she's so proud. She don't want to be so proud, but she is proud, basically. But I just took it like she's lying.
Yeah, she didn't want to talk about it. And what else? Sutton and Erika talks about dating. Nothing of interest. They're both dating. What else? Sutton said she's Sutton said she's not afraid of Erika.
Yeah, they talk about the blind date that, they seem to be kikiing in the corner, talking about Sutton is on Bumble. She got a date. She showed Erika the picture. They seem to having a real, like, authentic girlfriend chit chat.
I mean, again, nothing really happened. How it ended was a little bit like, oh, okay, was when they were headed back home, because the dinner was not much to even talk about. Was more so when they headed back home on the plane, and Diana basically told Sutton, oh, you can't sit with us. Go back and sit where you were sitting when you were on the plane.
Yeah, but before that, you could just tell before they boarded the plane and they were in the hotel lobby, and you remember Diana was talking to Kyle, and she was basically saying to Kyle, like, you don't want to see when I turn into, like, she was basically like, when I flip into bitch mode, like, you don't want to see me because it can be nasty. And then you could just tell, like, the resentment started building up, because she said, I'm only going to give Sutton one chance and one chance only. And you could just tell, like, she wasn't over the last scene of when Sutton made her cry, because she did seem weak in that moment. But this moment, she seemed like, okay, the beast is about to be released.
So I think with Diana, she's sly. She's one of those people like, I don't like this bitch, but I got a way to get my hands on her. She don't have to do the rah, rah, rah. Like the whole thing, like, oh, you want to sit on my jet? No, bitch, go sit where I'm telling you to sit. You can't sit with us. Like, she's one of those people like, oh, I'm having a huge event. I'm not inviting her. Or like, I'm going to have the jet pick up everybody. But you know what? You are not coming with us. She's one of those kind of people that's going to use her wealth, maybe, or her status, or whatever she has to get back at somebody without having to verbally say anything. So I think that was her moment to get back at Sutton without actually having to retaliate verbally. Because I think Sutton was probably like, oh, let me sit next to them and try to make up or be nice to Diana. And she's like, over there. Go sit over there where you were sitting before.
I didn't take it like that. I took it like that she really has like resentment. Like I don't think she did it on purpose. That's what it was. But I don't think she did it on purpose. Like I think it was like she just don't like her. Like it's kind of like, you know, when somebody kind of does something to you and you're not over it. But I don't think I just don't think she was purposely doing it. I just think she, you know, she's been disgusted by them.
I think she was purposely doing it. She was aware of what she was doing, so it was done on purpose. She knew she was telling why she was
kind of like, no, I don't want you sitting next to me. Like, no.
Exactly. So she knew what she was doing. She didn't do it subconsciously. She knew exactly what she was doing. I don't like you. I'm not over what you did to me. You made me cry. You embarrassed me. I didn't have an opportunity to really get to bitch mode with you. So now I'm going to get into this show, but have you sit over there.
Is it okay if I sit with y'all?
Probably was sitting.
You like to sit this way. Why don't you sit here?
No, I'll go sit over here.
This is how we said before. I think
Perfect,
it's
yeah. Last night, you said you liked everybody in the group. So all of a sudden, I can't sit next to you? Okay, meanie pants.
Oh, Diana.
Yeah, then you saw Garcelle was having Sutton's back too, because it did not involve Garcelle. Garcelle got to sit wherever she wanted to, because remember, Sutton asked her. She said,
Is this where you sat?
No, I sat over here.
You sat there. Well, that was retaliation. So we see how it works.
And then she said, well, if you sent her flowers, do not put my name on it. And then Sutton was like, that's not going to happen. But it had nothing to do with Garcelle. Like, I guess that's how friends should do, though. That is how, like, if you mess with my friend, you hurt my friends, now, like, you hurting me, too.
That's rude. I'm sorry. That's rude.
And then Sutton was like, oh, I could get my own check. And
yeah,
she most likely can. But I like Garcelle. Garcelle is a loyal friend. I mean, this season I'm seeing it.
Yes, she's a friend that I would appreciate.
Yeah, and she would definitely be a friend I would like. And I like her friendship with Sutton. I like it. Even in the confessional, I don't hear neither one of them is saying negative stuff about each other. Garcelle seems to have Sutton's back in person and behind the camera. Because and I think Sutton said something to her. I think what happened was because last season, Sutton made a point to say that Garcelle didn't stand up to Erika when Erika verbally attacked her at that dinner. And Garcelle said, oh, I didn't hear what she said.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. So I think, and again, a lot of times when these shows, people try to build alliances, team up. And I think off camera, Sutton was kind of like, look, I don't feel you had my back. This season, you got to have my back. I'll have your back. And this, whatever the situation is, because Garcelle is totally different than how she
But I think Garcelle saw it. And because I remember her saying that on Watch What Happens Live. And she said, I felt like I should have stuck up for something more. And I did see it a lot of times in those scenes when I look back at them where not Garcelle, Erika was like just at the table that last time when she was just like, shut the F up and talking to Sutton the way it was like they all were in shock. But Garcelle, no one said nothing to her. They all just shook their head. They was upset. You could tell like they were uncomfortable, but no one stopped Erika from bullying Sutton and talking down to her like she did.
Correct. So I think at this point, Garcelle saw that and was like, look, I'm going to stand up for my friend this season. If anyone come at her, I'm going to tell them about themselves. And they do have a friendship outside of the show.
Yeah.
Like they hang out and they seem to really genuinely like each other. And Sutton hasn't said anything bad about Garcelle either. I think they're genuinely good friends. And I'm hoping this show doesn't ruin it because I think I like seeing their friendship. I really like it. Even last season when Sutton, I think, broke her leg or something, it was funny seeing them joke around. Even the last episode, they were like calling her bride, and Garcelle was joking around, come on, bride, and they were joking around with her. I like seeing their friendship. They're actually the two people I actually like seeing the scenes with them together on that show.
Yes, like real authentic girlfriends. I do love it. I love like a real humorous side where you can joke, not be too serious about every damn thing. Like I love a jokey friend.
Yeah, not offended. Like, oh, she said, I'm wearing a wedding dress. How dare she? This is Givenchy.
Exactly. And that's so me. Like, I love having jokes. I love cracking jokes, and I love a friend that can embrace that side of me and joke back with me. Have jokes on my dress. Like, shit, come on. Like, let's do it.
So I like that because when they started saying, I was like, oh, God, here goes Sutton feeling the type of way they making fun of her outfit. But she was joking around. So I was like, okay. But again, to see this episode, I mean, I don't remember what's going to happen next episode. I think it's going to be Garcelle's birthday party. It seems like they were all feeling up on each other, dancing on the dance floor. So I don't know what's to come.
Next time on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, there we go.
Love this jacket.
That's a wrap!
Diana's text message. I'm telling you this so that Garcelle doesn't think I'm rude. No.
When you jab at Diana, it's nuclear.
Ooh, I'm so excited for my birthday. I want to go all out. It'll be fun. Yay! Ready to party. Let's go dance.
You are her mouthpiece?
He doesn't need me to be her
I know
mouthpiece.
she's frail and old, so I get it.
That's bullshit. And what you're not going to do is you're not going to mess up my birthday. So good night.
If you need a new villain, here I am.
Okay, so hopefully next week's episode is better. But it was one. I think it was one of those episodes that showed that these women could actually get along, but maybe choose not to, for whatever reason, to keep the storylines going. But I don't know. And I think with Diana, I don't know if she's gonna last. I don't know if she thinks these women are beneath her, or she's at a point in her life where I don't need the drama, something. But she just doesn't fit in. She doesn't even seem like she really wants to be there, kind of. I don't know.
To me, it seems like she's gonna try though. She's gonna try hard to have beef with Sutton. To me, it feels like, or I don't know if she's gonna try hard, or either she really is like, have a little bitch in her where she's not over Sutton making her cry. If she is like that strong woman that I think she probably is, because she seemed weak in that moment. That's why last week I'm saying, she's not, built to be on Housewives. She's not built. And it seemed like I could have been wrong. Like now is going to be the time where she felt a ways about that. She's resenting the fact that she didn't do anything the way Sutton treated her. And I definitely think Sutton was out of line. And for me to be crying, like, to me, I don't know if I would get over it either. I might have some resentment too. If you make me cry as a strong woman that I am, and I'm crying, I don't know if I would be over it easily.
Well, I don't think Diana is a weak woman. That's why she's crying. She had a baby. She's probably emotional. I don't know how. I don't know how old her kid is. I don't know if she's breastfeeding. It might just be an emotional thing. She's away from her kid. I don't think her tears may not have been due to what Sutton did. I think more so just she was overwhelmed for a lot of stuff. Sutton yelled at her. She probably wanted to punch Sutton in her face. She probably was like, I don't.
And that's what I'm saying.
I'm out of character on camera yet. And she just cried. I think a lot of people, when they get upset, they cry. When they can't really beat your ass, they cry.
Yeah.
So I didn't find it a weakness. I found it more, okay, she's going through some emotional cycle. She was probably on her period because Sutton was crying, she was crying, Crystal was crying. So they were probably all on their period. So I can't base that on one incident. Now, if I see her crying again and somebody else do something, then I could say yes. But for that first scene, I don't think that would.
Yeah, I do. I think it could be that, like you said, and she probably realizes that too. But the fact is still, you made me cry and you embarrassed me and you just came back with a little lame apology. I don't know. I still might have some resentment toward that, whether I was hormonal or not. Like, yeah, I'm going to look at it as hormonal. But the fact is like, it still was a weak moment of mine that you took advantage of.
And I could see her get upset because there are times in life things happen, someone says something to you, you're not quick with it. It's not like, oh, I got to say response. They said something, they did something. And then after it kind of resonates, you're like, oh my God, they said that to me. I didn't say anything back. And then that builds up. Like, oh my God, this woman just disrespected me. And I was maybe in shock, or the response I wanted to give, I didn't get an opportunity to give it. And now days is going by and it's building up where you really don't like this person because you didn't get to say what you said. So whatever they do to you, even if they try to be nice, it's gonna be like a trigger, like, oh, I gotta tell her off now. So I think Diana's not gonna be at peace until she basically lets Sutton have it any capacity.
Yes, and that's exactly what I'm thinking too. That is exactly what.
And I think once she tells Sutton about her, like puts her in her place, she'll get over it, and I can see her moving right along and maybe even having a friendship with Sutton. But she probably is one of those people that feels like, I need to put her in place, make sure to keep it on camera. And then after I do that, I can move right along. So I think that's what's happening now.
Absolutely. So we just got to wait for next episode for it to happen.
Yep. So I guess this was it for this episode.
Yes, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Tune in next week when we review the next episode.
Yes.
And like, comment below.
And subscribe.
See you.
Oh, that was good.